Hey guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge and welcome back to Subscriber Lunch Sunday. So in today's video I have 4 more non-sandwich lunch ideas to share with you. Now if you have a lunch idea you'd like to send in to me, number 1, make sure you're subscribed, and number 2, there'll be a link in the description box below where you can send in your idea. And next week I'm actually going to be focusing on hot lunches. I've had a lot of requests to show hot lunches, so if you have one you'd like to send me, you can follow the link down below. And now without further ado, let's get on to the lunches. Okay guys, now since we're talking about wraps again this week, I thought I would take a little bit of time to share with you some of my best tips when it comes to making wraps. I've made lots of different ones over the years and I've definitely learned some things that work and some things that don't work. So number 1, when you're making a wrap, you want to start with a good size base. So like a big tortilla, I like to get at least a 10-inch size when I'm making a wrap. I find that anytime I try to use something smaller, I tend to have a little bit of trouble. Now I'd say the easiest thing to use is actually a tortilla, and these come in lots of different flavors and colors these days. All of these work perfectly. But if you don't want to use a tortilla, you could also line up lettuce, such as Bibb lettuce or romaine lettuce. You can actually use that in your wrap instead of bread. My next tip is to use the freshest tortilla or wrap bread that you can. If your tortilla is a little bit crumbly and dried out, it's not really going to work the best. But here's a trick, you guys. An easy way to freshen up some stale tortillas is to actually just take a tortilla, add it to a plate, then I top it with a damp paper towel, and I'll stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And just like that, the tortilla is pliable and soft, and this is going to help your wrap turn out a lot better. Next, let's talk about the glue. And what I mean by glue is that a lot of times I'll put this down first, and this layer of spread really helps to keep the rest of my ingredients in place, and it can also help to seal the edges of my wrap once I have it all wrapped up. Now when it comes to the filling itself, the options are endless, but here's a few tips. I recommend adding things that aren't too juicy, and that's because items with a lot of moisture like tomatoes or other juicy vegetables or fruit can actually end up making your wrap really soggy pretty quickly. So if I'm going to add those ingredients, I'll just add a few. And then there are 2 main ways I like to put together my wraps. The first way is to add a thin layer of my ingredients all over the tortilla, and then I'll roll it up. I often do this when I want to cut my wrap into pieces. That way you can actually see the swirl of the ingredients in the center when you're done. Another easy way to fill a wrap is to keep all of your ingredients more on one side of your tortilla versus the other. That way when you're wrapping it up, you still have plenty of space to tuck in the edges and really seal in the filling. And speaking of the filling, that brings me to my next tip, is to not overfill your wrap. I know this is really tempting to do, especially when your ingredients are tasty, but if you add too many ingredients, you might not be able to get your tortilla closed all the way, and your ingredients will most likely end up spilling out anyway. And then for my last tip, when it comes to adding these into lunch boxes, I often like to cut these on a diagonal. That way they fit a lot better. And just to make sure that they don't fall apart in the lunchbox, I often like to add several little food picks right in there just to hold them together. Okay guys, so first up I have a lunch idea sent in by Lily. Love the name, by the way. This Lily, however, is from England, and for her lunch today we're going with a tropical theme. For her wrap, I'm going to start with a regular plain flour tortilla. For Lily's wrap, she requested a layer of lettuce followed by some delicious pulled pork. And you guys, I actually have a separate video on how I make my pulled pork. It is super easy and delicious, so if you'd like that recipe, I will link it down below. Then I'm going to top this pork with some delicious and mild pineapple salsa. To make this, I just mixed together some diced fresh pineapple, and I went ahead and cut these pretty small because I want them to fit well inside our wrap. Next, I'm adding some finely diced red onion, some chopped cilantro, the juice of 1 lime, a little bit of cumin, and some salt and pepper to taste. Now you guys, I'm making this on the mild side, but if you wanted to, you could also add in diced jalapenos tomatoes to spice it up. So now I'm just going to add this delicious fresh salsa right on top. I'm going to make sure not to get too much of the salsa juice in here because I don't want this wrap to get very soggy. So now I'm just going to go ahead and roll it up as tightly as I can, cut it diagonally in the center, and there you have it. This looks so good. So now that Lily's wrap is done, I'm going to move on to the fruit and vegetable. For her fruit, I'm just going to add more of that fresh pineapple right in the back. And then for her veggie, I'm just going to add in some carrot sticks, some crinkle cut carrot sticks to be exact. Go along with these carrots, I'm also adding in a small container of ranch dip. For Lily's snack, she requested some trail mix. I'm just going to add a scoop of this right into here. And then for her treat, I'm adding in a combination of Greek yogurt topped with chocolate granola. That is such a tasty combination for sure. And then last but not least, for Lily's drink today, she just requested water. So I'm just going to add some on the side. Next up, I'm going to be making a lunch idea sent in by Daniela. Daniela is from Miami, which by the way, even though we've moved to Florida, we still haven't been to Miami. Now you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you've ever been to Miami. I would love to go and hope to go sometime soon. So for Daniela's wrap today, she requested sort of a Cuban style wrap. So for this, I'm going to start with just a regular plain tortilla. To this, I'm going to start by piling on the ham. This is just some thinly sliced deli ham. Next, I'm going to add a couple of slices of Swiss cheese. This is a classic combination for a Cuban style sandwich. Next, I'm adding in some sliced pickles, followed by some thinly sliced red onion. And then I'm going to top it all off with just a little bit of Dijon mustard. So now I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And normally a Cuban sandwich would be added to a grill or a press. So to finish off this wrap, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my panini press for just a few minutes. I'll go ahead and cut this in half on the diagonal. Check it out, you guys. I just love the way this turned out and it smells so good. For my next step, I'm going to add in a combination of apple and banana, which are Daniela's favorite fruit. And because I don't want this banana to turn brown, I am going to go ahead and leave the peel on the outside. For Daniela's vegetable, she requested broccoli, so I'm just going to add a little bit on the side with some ranch for dipping, of course. And then for her snack, I'm just adding in a few of these salt and vinegar Pringles. And for her treat, something really special. My kids love these. This is a Kinder Joy egg. This has chocolate inside and a little toy. And then to complete Daniela's lunch, I'm just going to be adding in some apple juice. This next lunch idea was sent in by Gloria, and Gloria is from Albania. And for her lunch today, I'm going to add in as many emoji themed items as I can. For her wrap day, I'm going to be starting again with a plain flour tortilla, but this time I am going to add a spread, or the glue as I like to call it. For this, I'm just going to take a little bit of room temperature cream cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle in just a little bit of taco seasoning. This is going to give it really good flavor, and it's really going to help our ingredients not fall out of our wrap. Next, I'm going to add in some lettuce, followed by some cooked ground beef. I did go ahead and season this beef with some taco seasoning as well. And now for the rest of the toppings. You could really add so many different things here. For Gloria's wrap, she requested some corn, some beans, a little bit of avocado, a few tomatoes, and some cheese. And this is just a taco blend shredded cheese right on top. Now, this guy is looking pretty full, so I'm going to wrap it up as best I can. I'll slice this on the diagonal as well and then get it into the lunchbox. For my next step, I'm going to be adding in a banana. That's what Gloria chose for her fruit. And since there are so many vegetables already in the taco wrap, we're not actually going to be adding any more to the lunchbox. Over in this section, I am going to go ahead and add in Gloria's snack. She requested some Lay's potato chips, and I actually have the baked version, so that's what I'm going to add. And then for her treat, something really tasty, Gloria requested a chocolate snack cake. And then finally, to complete Gloria's lunch, I'm just going to be adding in some fruit punch. And I decided to go with the minion topper for this because out of all the bottle toppers I have, it's the most similar to an emoji. Okay guys, now that brings me to a lunch idea sent in by Katie. Katie is from Michigan, and for her lunch I'm going to be adding in as many star and heart shapes as I can. Now for Katie's wrap today, I'm actually going to start by using a red tortilla. Now this is actually a sun-dried and tomato basil flavored tortilla. That's where the red color comes from. And you guys, I can actually smell these tortillas. They smell a lot like pizza. So for this wrap, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm actually going to start by adding some shredded cheddar cheese to this tortilla, and at this point I'm going to pop this in the microwave for just a few seconds until that cheese is melted. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you are a fan of cheese. I'd say cheese is probably on my top 5 favorite food lists for sure. So now that this cheese is melted all over the tortilla and it's had time to cool down, I'm going to go ahead and add in a layer of lettuce. This is going to add a nice bright flavor and a nice crisp crunch, and I'm going to top everything off with several slices of bacon. Now I already cooked this bacon, so it's ready to go. So this wrap is kind of like a BLT, but my style, because I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes. So swapping out the tomatoes for cheese is definitely a thumbs up for me. Now moving on to Katie's fruit, I'm going to be adding in a scoop of fresh blueberries with a little heart pick as well. And then for her vegetable, I'm adding in a combination of carrots and cucumbers in heart shapes. I feel like I've been making these like non-stop for the last 2 weeks. To go along with the veggies, you guessed it, a little container of ranch. And for Katie's snack, I'm going to add in a little bit of popcorn right over here. And for her treat, something really special, I'm going to add in some white chocolate chips. And these always make me think of white chocolate macadamia cookies, which I love. And then the very last thing I'm adding into Katie's lunch is some apple juice. And for this, I'm going with the Shopkins topper since it has that fun star shape. Okay guys, now don't forget to send in your lunch requests for next week. Again, I'm looking for hot lunch ideas. The link for that will be down below in the description box. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that red subscribe button if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!